Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today's topic is going to be the part 2 of our schedule preview, and we'll go through week 6 through week 9. But before we get started, I just want to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, we can jump right into the video and get into week 6 action, which is against the Dallas Cowboys. And actually, I think this is a pretty favorable matchup for the New York Jets. If you remember, the Jets, I had them going 1-3 in their first 4 games. If you want to watch part 1 and haven't seen it already, I'll link it down below. But this is part 2, obviously, so we're going to do the next 4 games. So 1-3 to start. Obviously, they're playing against the Dallas Cowboys in week 6. Some key additions: Randall Cobb for the slot. They bring back DeMarcus Lawrence and the return of Jason Witten. How productive is he going to be? But like I mentioned at the start of this, I actually like this matchup a lot because offensively, Dallas is going to run the ball through Ezekiel Elliott. And the Jets should be able to stop the run fairly well. Where they will struggle defensively is against teams that will be able to spread you out, go 4 wide, and really take advantage of the Jets' weaker secondary, or at least the weaker cornerback position, because outside of Tremaine Johnson, Dow Roberts I think is a fine 4th corner, but I don't love him as a number 2. And Poole is probably an okay slot guy, but that's definitely one of the Jets' weaker positions on the defensive side of the ball. But when you look at the middle of that Jets defense, Mosley and Williamson up the gut as the linebackers, that's great. Then you have obviously Leonard Williams, Henry Anderson, and you just drafted Quinnen Williams too. So that is a ton of interior pressure that the Jets could contain Ezekiel Elliott with. So that it should be a positive for the Jets. And I don't think Dak Prescott's going to be somebody who's going to throw the ball around a ton and make a ton of plays and spread out the Jets. I just don't really see that. Offensively, the Jets might struggle in this game against Dallas's very strong front 7. So I think I'm going to go a little bit of a low-scoring game here. I'm going to say Jets win 16-10 in kind of a sloppy early season game for this New York Jets team. But a win is a win. You take it, and now you go to 2-3 on your season. Next up is another tough matchup against the New England Patriots, and I had them losing on the road. I'm going to have them win at home. I think they finally split with the New England Patriots, the first time that they would win against the Patriots since 2015. Gase seems to have the Patriots' number in terms of being able to split with them in the last few years. I think the Jets, like I said, they end their 7 game at this point. It's 6 right now, but I think they lose the first one too. So at that point, it would be their 7-game losing streak against the New England Patriots. That's wild stuff. I think this is going to be a little bit of a high-scoring game. I don't love the Patriots' defense, and I think Sam Darnold and the New York Jets should be able to put up a bunch of points. I also think that New England should be able to put up their fair share of points, but I'm going to go something like 30-26. The New York Jets win, and they get to 3-3, 500 on the season at this point. Now, the next week is another difficult game. And you might not think that Jacksonville, who they're playing obviously, is that tough of an opponent. They are probably in a similar tier with the New York Jets, they could probably finish between 7 wins and 9 wins, which most people are predicting for both of these teams. But the reason why I don't love this matchup is just because how good that defense is. So some key additions, obviously Nick Foles, much better option at the quarterback position than Bortles. And you draft Josh Allen, who fell to them in the draft. I mean, they are going to have a scary, scary defense. So I don't love that matchup. And last year, if you remember, that was one of Sam Darnold's worst games of the year. Granted, it was early on, and I expect him to take a leap in year 2. But I just don't love this matchup. As for Nick Foles, I don't even expect him to be the quarterback that he was in Philly. I think he is going to regress a little bit. But at the end of the day here, it's going to be a real defensive matchup. And I think that's where the Jaguars have the slight edge. And like I said, Sam Darnold really struggled in this game last year. He could take that step forward and really grow and show that he could beat a tough defense. But I'm going to say 24-20 loss for the New York Jets. They drop to 3-4 at this point. And probably a game that when you're looking at the end of the season and you see this one circled on your schedule, one that you probably should have won if you want to be a playoff team. But we're not going to get that far ahead yet. Last one that we're going to do in this preview, part 2, is against the Miami Dolphins. And this one's interesting for a few reasons. One, because it's a team that the Jets should beat it's two quarterbacks from the same draft class, Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold. And also, if it's not Josh Rosen, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. And we know that there is definitely stuff going on there when he was a member of the New York Jets. So there's drama no matter how you slice it. And then on top of that, Adam Gase used to coach the Miami Dolphins for the last 3 years. So I think that this should be a pretty easy win. Some key additions for the Miami Dolphins, if you can call them that, is Josh Rosen, who I am still a big fan of. I think that he has had a terrible situation with the Cardinals and not a favorable one here with the Dolphins either. Eric Rowe and Dwayne Allen. Now, Miami is trying to tank. I don't think they're going to go 0-16. They are probably going to win 3 or 4, maybe 5 games. I would probably pick them at 3-13. But it is tank city in Miami. Adam Gase revenge game. The Jets win big. Big time win. 31-10. So after 8 games, you are at 4-4, which pretty much a lot of people are picking the Jets to win 7 or 8 games. Maybe 9 is their ceiling. But through the halfway point of the season, if you are 4-4, you're in pretty good shape because the Jets' schedule gets a little bit more favorable after the first half. So I know you have the early bye. That's why the first video was weeks 1 to 5 because you had a week 4 bye week or week 3 bye week. It's super early in the season. Terrible. You don't want that usually. But I think in the Jets' favor, what helps them out is that their second half of the season is a cupcake schedule. Granted, they're still going to have some tough matchups, obviously, and divisional games against Buffalo are never easy. But at the end of the day here, sitting at 4-4 after your first 8 games, you got to count that as a win, and pretty good stuff for the New York Jets. If you agree with me, comment below, or you can get at me and say what you think the Jets record would be after 8 games and how they will do in this 4-game stretch. Get at me in the comments. You can get at me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.